What up, Whiskey Ginger fans? Welcome back to the show. If it's your first time joining the show, welcome to the show. Like it, subscribe it, leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Please share this with some friends. I do dig it when you guys do that. It spreads it around. It keeps us moving on this show. And we got a good one for you today. Like my man Steve Harvey done say, show me Dan Soder. Dan Soder, love this dude. One of New York's finest. All right? This dude is so funny, such a great comedian. I went and watched him do his almost hour at the Comedy Store, and I got to tell you, unbelievable what this guy's cooking up, and I can't wait for you guys to see it in the future. I'm on tour right now. Come see me, dude. I'm in Austin with Bobby and the Bad Friends on the 15th. The 16th, I go to Dallas. Come on, Dallas. Come on out, baby. Then I've also got Vancouver and Lake Tahoe. I got Montclair, New Jersey, Dirty Jers. And then we go up to Niagara Falls, the good side, the U.S. side. Get out of here, Canada. But come on over. Please come see the show. Go to andrewsantino.com for those tickets. andrewsantino.com is the only place to get the links for those tickets. Don't buy from anywhere else but andrewsantino.com. Enough rambling from me. Let's go to the episode.
In here, we pour whiskey, 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 whiskey.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that for all my guests, but I mean it once again today. It's the sexy, the salacious, the tall drink of agua fresca, Dan Soder. Everybody knows that you're half Spanish, right?
Everyone knows that. I'm Uruguayan.
You're Uruguayan?
Uruguayan. That's what's fun about doing podcasts in general, but also this being the only podcast I'm doing in LA.
Yeah.
You hit me with the most LA intro ever where you're like, I love this guy, and this time I mean it.
But you know what? I say that for all my guests.
Yeah.
But I mean it this time today.
You should start one where you're like, I genuinely don't like this person.
I thought about doing a show where it's only people that I have like beef with or an issue with. I did think about that because at one time, Neil Brennan and I clashed about some bullshit, and I had him on.
Yeah.
Like right after we had some bullshit, and we kind of hashed it out, and it was very Maron-esque. That was my only issue because Mark would do that. Maron would bring in people that he clearly would talk shit about or that he hated.
You know my favorite story?
And they hashed it out. What?
The Jon Stewart story.
I don't know that.
Apparently, Stewart and Maron had beef, and I've heard this is secondhand. I'm not
Wait,
like
really though? Those dudes?
I guess Stewart, like Maron used to be mean to Jon Stewart. That's the story that I heard.
Maron used to be mean to everybody.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
But that'll set you up for a podcast in 20 years.
I know.
Whoever you see being a dick right now, you're like, are you going to do an interview-style podcast in 20 years? But Maron, like, went up to Jon Stewart, I guess, and was like, hey, why don't you come on What the Fuck, and we'll talk it out or whatever. And Stewart was like, if you want to talk it out, let's go to a diner. I'm not going to go make you money so you can apologize for being a dickhead.
Respect. Heavy respect.
Like, ooh, Johnny boy.
Be like, yeah, I'll do it, but you can't run ads. You can't monetize it. You're going to make no money
Yeah,
on it.
dude, if you want to make up in public,
totally
fine, but we can't make money off it. You're not going to make money off it.
Did they ever hash it out, though?
I don't know. I would love to know that. I would actually like to see the What the Fuck with Stewart.
Jon Stewart. Well, because he's the kind of guy that, from a comedian standpoint, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but he's the kind of dude that transcended the comedy world to go into, like, I don't know, the hierarchy of, like, way cooler than yous because they were, like, had their own creative comedy show, but also could comment about stuff politically and it didn't annoy me.
Yeah,
you know what
they
I mean?
could.
Sometimes when you go comedy political, you're like, now this guy's fucking annoying.
I think oftentimes you lose the people there.
You do.
That's where they go there because it's like they know how to get. Comedians are always looking how to get the laughs and the applauses.
Yeah.
When you start going political, you kind of find just those like those levers, and you're like, well, I'll just pull those levers. And I'll pull those levers.
Yeah.
Stewart was able to do it, but even him sometimes I started getting sick of, and I'm a massive Jon Stewart fan.
Yeah.
But I started getting sick of the whole like, well, I'm a comic, so I can't really. It's like, no, you know a lot about politics.
He's super smart. Dude.
You're super smart.
Yeah.
We're listening to you because we know you're super smart.
Right.
So don't do like but I'm just the dummy. Because some of us that are real dummies have to,
Right here?
Hey, we both,
How's it going?
we both need that one.
Yeah,
we
100%.
both like, that's an actual thing. We're
That's
like,
my card.
Yeah.
You don't get to play my card.
I'm actually dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk me into stuff. It's not good.
You don't get to steal my dumb card, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, I went to Arizona State. There is no dumber.
You stolen valor. Yeah, we're Arizona schools, dude.
Yeah,
It's stolen valor.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do
We
that.
were educated by the state of Arizona.
Yeah, which is so scary and sad.
Yeah.
The desert. Any desert education out there? Shout out to Desert Ed.
And if
By
you're
the way,
wondering if we know how to suck out snake poison, no.
No.
It's not the stuff you want to learn in Arizona.
But do I know how to get high on mushrooms and chase javelinas through the desert? You better believe it, dude.
Do I know how to go to a school that does not recognize Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
You better believe it, buddy.
That's the angriest white kids at Arizona schools get back in the day when they didn't recognize MLK Day.
They're like, he's a guy, but he doesn't get a day.
Yeah, but we're like, well, you want the day off. Everyone wanted that Monday off.
No, man, you don't get it. He didn't do much.
Go to school.
Go to school. He didn't do enough.
You go to school. Jon Stewart's the one guy that I say goes against the thing of when they say don't meet your heroes. Jon Stewart's still, even being that high, he can speak comedian fluently still.
Yeah, right. Well, his language, he doesn't lose. But I do feel like if you get Seinfeldian, he's too big.
He's the most awkward guy.
But that's what I mean.
He was
he's
the
too
one,
big. I think he's too big.
Him and Rock were the two that when I moved to New York really bummed me out.
That made you sick because you met him and you're like, this stinks.
Oh, I didn't meet him.
Oh.
I was like a nervous open mic comic in front of stand-up New York, and Jerry Seinfeld walks by. I was like, hey, but you don't realize how much he's getting that.
He gets that all day, every second of the day.
And it's
it's Jerry Seinfeld.
And he's like, ugh, he was like mad about it. And you're like, sorry, that's shit, man.
You're like, you know what? You're right, dude. I'm a fucking scumbag.
What is the deal with tiny soaps? I still don't know what the deal is. And I just need a fucking answer, dude.
No, he is one of those guys that's kind of, but I will say, meet your heroes type of guys. Like Burr, when I first met Burr, I was, and he wasn't even at the time mega famous like he is now. In the stand-up world, he still was.
I mean, dude.
But to America, they didn't really know him when I met him. But he was the guy that I met that I thought, oh, he is exactly what I wanted him to be. Like honest, nice, cool, not placating, very Rogan was the same way to me. Joe was the same way. Like a lot of those guys that I thought would be a little get the fuck out of here kid, they were the opposite.
Yeah, Burr scared me.
Well, his energy does. Yeah.
If you grew up without a dad,
where you from?
Yeah. What are you looking at me for?
Where you from?
Dude, I watched
San Francisco.
Yeah, I watched that.
Fucking
such a good
scumbags.
That's such a good Burr.
Pieces of shit.
He he moved to L.A. right as I moved to New York, so I missed him. But I was friends with Bobby Kelly, and like I'd open for DeRosa and Bobby Kelly, and so all of people that Burr knew.
Yeah.
So when Burr would come around, it was like a big deal. He'd like sell out Caroline's, and then if you ever got near him, it was like being by like the president. You were like, and I'm talking about like 08, 09.
Right.
Just put out Why Do I Do This? But comics in New York were obsessed.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite moments was like getting past the cellar and Burr just walked in randomly and I was sitting there with Keith Robinson and they just started shitting on each other. Oh. And I was like,
this is magic. Yeah.
I was like,
you're watching up close magic. You're like,
whoa.
How are they doing this?
Oh my God.
Is this real?
Burr was like, look at your fucking Pizza Hut manager pants, And Keith was like, oh, shut up, Bill. Look at him. He's laughing because he wants to open for you. He was just like calling me out in front of it. It was.
I love it when you watch the old guy. When you watch guys that because when they're older than you think, well, maybe they're not like our generation. They don't still fuck with each other. But then you watch them do it, and you get to just walk like a window into their world. You're like, yeah, that's because they've known each other since they were when we started with our guys.
Jim Norton, who's one of my favorite comedians of all time.
Love, yeah.
Looks at Bobby Kelly differently than I'll be having a conversation with Jim and Bobby will walk up. Same with like Voss.
Yeah.
Same with like all those old guys. Colin. Like they'll be around and then they'll see another one and they're like, and it's just like, oh, here's this dickhead.
Right.
But they're like still being nice to me because I'm so they're like, oh yeah, no, I heard that club. And they're like, ugh. Like that, like, and you're like,
anybody that you meet at that professional level, even outside of stand-up, when they see each other, the way they treat each other, it's funny to watch because you're like, it's nice to know they still have that relationship where they're like, nice shoes, bitch. And obviously he liked the shoes a lot, so he's like, don't fucking talk about my shoes, man, in front of these kids.
Dude, I just bought them. Shut up. They one of the things that made me like Adam Sandler a lot was who doesn't love Adam Sandler, but he was at the Cellar one night sitting at the table and there was like a bunch of people around. Like a bunch of people around. There was almost like rings of a tree around Adam Sandler. And he was at the table and fucking Attell came in and it was like winter and he had his black leather gloves on and his hat and had his, cigarette out of his mouth. Just goes to the side of the bar to get a coffee. And I was sitting fourth ring out, just waiting to go up. And I saw Sandler see Attell and be like, Dave. And he like got up and walked over and Dave was like, hey, Adam. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
this
that's
this
wild.
moment right here, watching Sandler geek out for Attell, I was like, this is awesome.
That is cool. Was Sandler wearing basketball shorts?
Close. He was wearing a puffy vest.
Yeah, see, I like his fashion.
I love it.
I like that.
I dressed like him during the pandemic.
When you
Whole
have
pandemic.
fuck you money, you're allowed to go back to, you regress back to, this is all I have money. Like, it's in your mind, you're like, I have so much money, I could buy any of the clothes. He doesn't buy fancy bullshit clothes. He just buys comfortable shit that he can put on his body when he leaves his house.
I wouldn't also be surprised if he just wears what's given to him. If they're like,
Yeah, for
hey,
sure.
and one sent you these oversized basketball shorts, and Sandler's like, put them on. I also think when you get that kind of money, you become truly who you are because you don't have any limitations anymore.
Right.
So you're just like, I'm going to wear sweatpants. Like the weird shit that I would do with Sandler money.
What would you do with Sandler money?
I would probably grow a ponytail that wasn't that great and be comfortable shirtless for the first time in my life.
I would have one tooth removed. I'd have one cool, like one front tooth
That's your
removed.
straw hole.
Uh-huh.
That's Mr. And everyone calls him Mr.
Santino straw hole.
Mr. Santino, because they call you Mr.
Yeah. Mr. Santino, sir.
Yeah.
And I make them put it in. I'm like,
Yeah,
go ahead,
got-
put that in my tooth so I can sip that.
Thank you, Philip. Feed me.
If I had Sandler money, if I had fuck you money, I do think, I talked about this the other night with somebody, I wouldn't have a permanent residence. One time Jim Carrey embarrassed the shit out of me. Shout out Jim Carrey. When he was my boss and I'm dying
Always
up here.
shout out Jim Carrey.
Dude, this motherfucker, it was...
Would he hang out around the set of I'm dying up here?
Yeah, when he had 15 minutes of time to do so. But he would come by.
When he would, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because everyone tries to act cool in comedy,
Yeah.
but you get cold watered when you're around big people.
Mhm.
Big people make you fucking... He's talking. Burr was like that.
Your butthole gets tighter.
We went to Playwrights after a Caroline show in like 2009. Celtics were playing the Lakers,
Mhm.
and Burr was there, and I was with DeRosa, so we just started talking to Burr about like the new Metallica album, and I was like, "There's the day that never comes." Is pretty good. And he's like, "What?" And I'm like,
You say stuff because you feel like you want to fill gaps of conversation, but you forget that they don't. They're just like you. You wouldn't want to do that either.
They're bored. They're at work.
Well, that's what fucking Jim did to me. I cold watered myself because.
Did you have cold water when he walked in?
Well, no. Well, I got comfortable with him really fast because he came around the store, and that's kind of how like me and Eric Griffin got seen by him and all that stuff.
That's
But
so cool.
It was
that's,
dope.
that's just a cool story.
Doing well in front of him was
Come on.
wild.
Come on.
Honestly, dude, I almost wanted to go up and shake the hands of everyone in the audience that night and be like, "Thank you, so,
Guys,
dude. Like,
we
thank
came
you,
together.
thank you,
Thank
you
you.
did it. You helped.
Oh my God.
You fucking crushed.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
lady, that laugh.
That laugh did it.
You are the wind beneath my wings, and I'm telling you right now, The Mask watched me murder.
He did, like having him be a part of it was fucking wild. And then here we are. We're at like a party. Maybe it was. I don't think it was a rap. Maybe it was the rap party for the first season or whatever. And we were at the Sunset Tower Hotel, out on the balcony, and they want us to be out there to take photos, but nobody was really out there besides me, Mike Langarano, and Ari Grainer. So we're sitting out there. We're just kind of having a drink, chilling. And Jim is like cuddled up next to me a little bit, and he's kind of like staring at me, and he's like, he goes, "What are you drinking?" And I was like, "I'm having tea because my sore throat, you know." And he's like,
Because I got to blow a dude.
like-
Those jokes are still fun.
There it is.
Tell me those jokes aren't fun. Check out my new line
go,
of No Fear shirts.
"Jim, 1 second, Jim." I just started fucking sucking the maitre d'. But I tea, and then he just was thinking, he was like, "Tea is an interesting choice." And I was like, "Fuck, does that mean I'm an idiot? Is that a bad choice?"
Yeah.
Like dumb guy brain kicks in. You're like,
Yeah. Tea bad?
You don't like tea? Tea
bad.
bad.
Tea bad.
So then I go, like a moron. Now Angarano can hear me and Ari can hear me. And I go, "So what's been going on, Jim? Are you good?" And he's like, Yeah, I'm feeling very well lately. I go, "Awesome." I go, where is it you live now? Are you, and I'm like drowning as I'm saying it. That's not cold. That's not just cold water. It's quicksand and water.
I love it.
Where
dude.
you're like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking
You're
die.
drowning.
I'm drowning.
Yeah, you're not in cold water. The
No,
water's
I'm drowning.
taking you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going to your sweet
I'm
dark
in one
abyss.
of those training tanks where they
Yeah.
drown them on purpose. Yeah.
It's,
And
yeah.
I'm feeling it coming, and I'm going, "Do you live? Is L.A. is a
Hills,
permanent?"
Vancouver, you're from.
And he literally goes, "What do you mean? Where?" And I go, "Where's your permanent? Are you here the most?" And he goes, "I'm kind of wherever I need to be, man."
Oh.
And it was like
Oh, cool.
fuck you. What an annoying question.
Yeah, I live on Main Street, you
Yeah.
turd. I'm over on 3rd and
He just goes like this, and he walks
dude.
away.
It's exactly.
But I
you don't
deserved
need
it.
to know the location. Yeah.
No, what a
But-
stupid thing to say.
That is, you're just trying to start a conversation.
I know, but you know what? Start
just-
any other conversation, you idiot.
But it's also like you're having a conversation while thinking like, have a conversation. So that's why your questions are like, did you get sunburnt? And they're like, I get sunburnt. Why are you?
Because I do.
I got sunburnt last year. I've had that my whole life growing up, just with anybody. Also, I think like you're the son of a single mom. I was the son of a single mom.
Yep.
And you're like around dudes who you want your mom to be happy.
Yeah.
You don't want to like, I'm not the mischievous type where I'm like pranking these guys.
No.
I was like, hey man, just come on.
Yeah.
She's going through a lot.
Will you be cool to her, dude? It would be cool if you were cool to her,
rides
dude.
the bus to Etna, dude. Just be cool.
Be cool, man.
Just fucking be cool,
Please,
man.
dude. All right.
And then I think that becomes like you inject this awkwardness with conversation immediately that you can break through.
Yeah. You
I
get
always-
over it.
Always, every time I'd work a comedy club, now I love Thursday night shows. I think those are my favorite shows. But I always used to have like,
They're underrated for sure.
I used to have this thing with like clubs for the first time because it was like, I felt like I was more acting like I was doing stand up than I was just being funny.
Like you're playing the role.
Yeah, because you're like, this is how I look in this room doing these jokes.
Right.
As opposed to like how comfortable you are at the store.
Yeah.
Or how I feel at the cellar or the stand, where you just walk in and you're like, can I talk about this thing? I just want to talk about this thing.
Let me rattle off some bullshit to you guys.
But
You
people
might
are-
not like it.
But people are like that.
Yeah.
The more you're around people and the like more you hang out with them, like 2 or 3, that's how relationships are built. So it's like that Jim Carrey, after that conversation, I bet you felt a little more comfortable.
100%. And I made fun of it later.
I regressed with Bill Burr because then just the next time I saw him was at Playwrights. I was there for Sam Morrill and Joe Mackey's birthday party. And I walk in and they're like, Bill Burr's here just watching the Stanley Cup. I know nothing about hockey.
Oh, boy.
Nothing. And it was Bruins Blackhawks. It was like a big.
That's a huge. Yeah, that's
It
huge.
was huge.
Yeah.
And I just he was there to like be in the city, but also Bobby just had his son. So he's like, I'm going to go see Bobby's son. And so we were just like watching hockey. And I was like, I felt like the girlfriend more than I've ever felt, where I was like, who are we cheering for? You know, it's just Burr with a glass of whiskey. It's like the most, just like the most iconic looking thing of just him at the corner of the bar being like, fuck it, come on.
What is hooking? What is that? Is that?
Is a forecheck like a foreskin? What is it? I just like removed myself.
Dude, take a fucking walk.
That's what it was. I was
Fucking
like,
sitting here watching the game.
He was like, why aren't you out doing spots? And I was like, because that's the only gave me a 2:15 in the morning.
That is funny when you get those late night spots when you're young and you get like I remember a guy lived with me, a comic. I won't say his name, but he was passed and I wasn't passed.
Yeah.
And he was staying with us. He was like chilling with us because he was in between places. And he got a phone call from the phones, from the kids that run the phones. And he goes, really? Fuck. Fine. And he hangs up. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, gave me a fucking midnight spot. And I was like, I would slit someone's dick off for a midnight spot. I was like, a midnight spot at the club? I was like, what do you mean? That's amazing.
Oh, when I first started working the cellar, I was drinking still, so I didn't care. So she could be like, you have a 135. And I'd be like,
perfect.
I'll be right around the corner at Triona's getting banged up. Let's go. But when I quit drinking, that's when those spots became a problem. Yeah. And I would put in for Friday, and then I would get like a 115, which in reality is a 245.
I was just going to say 2 something, yeah.
And then you know which comics go long, so you know who you got to see that you see on the lineup. You're like, I'm not. Dude, one time I got up on stage at like 3:55 in the morning. And I
were
was
there
like,
humans there?
Yeah, and they were not an audience.
No.
They were just a pile of humans. And you
Bodies.
just get up there and you're just like, so Godfrey just fucking killed for like 25 minutes. And I'm up there and I'm like, you guys ever get on the subway? It's just like, shit, dude. It just sucks. That people at 4 a.m, you know.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Hey, I've spoken pretty openly on this show about how I build stuff on the internet using Squarespace. Squarespace is the best, easy, convenient way to build something online, okay? It's an all-in-one platform building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell literally anything. This is the best way to track, distribute whatever information you're trying to give, whether you're a gym teacher, a yoga instructor, a stand-up comedian who's trying to put out tour dates and also sell merch online. That's why I use Squarespace. They were incredible. You know, basically what Squarespace does is they give you the options to use their layouts, or you can go rogue. You can go wild and just do it your own way. But they do have great stuff in there that can, you know, you can use for all sorts of different kinds of careers. They have connected social media accounts. You know, you can display all the stuff from one profile on your website, which is cool. They got the video studio. You can create pro-level videos on there that you can embed directly on your website. Online booking and scheduling for classes or sessions if you're somebody who teaches something. And they got analytics, these insights to help you build your business, to find out where everybody is coming from, which I love because that's how we know where my fans are, baby, when I come see you on the road. So Squarespace has helped me build something, and I'm a stupid person, so you're probably smarter than me, and you can do it much easier and better using Squarespace. So do yourself a favor. Head to squarespace.com/whiskey, squarespace.com/whiskey for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code whiskey. Save yourself 10% off. That's pretty good. Your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace.com/whiskey, squarespace.com/whiskey, offer code whiskey. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Hey, you don't know when that moment's going to arise, you know? And you know when it does, your boy better be ready. You better have juice in the rockets. The fuel better be heavy to go. And look, maybe you've been in a relationship for a long time. Maybe you're just seeing somebody for the first time. ED is common, erectile dysfunction. It's not a dirty word anymore. We can say it. It happens to millions and millions of men. In fact, 52% of men, 52%, just over half, between the ages of 40 and 70 are going to experience some form of ED. All right, so buckle up. You could be one of these people. There's nothing embarrassing. There's nothing wrong about it. And all you have to do is use Roman. The benefits are incredible, and they're going to help you enjoy sex. What they do is it's confidential, totally discreet. No logos on the packages that come to your door. You're going to get a free online evaluation, ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Nobody's got to know. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan if medication is appropriate. It's going to ship to you for free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, convenient, and discreet. Getting started is very simple. Just go to getroman.com/whiskey, getroman.com/whiskey. Complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving the comfort of your own home, okay? Go to getroman.com/whiskey today. If you're prescribed by a U.S. licensed healthcare professional, you're going to get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control. Get Roman ready, baby. GetRoman.com/whiskey today.
Ginger. I like gingers.
They're dead. They're dead. Anytime after there's a witching hour, and the store has it, I'm sure the seller has its own, but there's a witching hour when you feel the physical shift. They're staying, but their souls have left their body.
Yeah,
their souls are at their apartment.
I've stuck around for like Chappelle shows where he's like done long, and you can just feel it at one point. Everyone's like, okay, now we're just here because we like to watch you talk.
And then they start to like kind of like stare around at each other like, I guess we don't leave until other people
Then
leave.
it becomes like, who's leaving?
Yeah.
We're not leaving.
And everybody wants to leave, but then when someone gets up, they go, oh, this guy's leaving.
I watched him for 3 hours one time. And
3 fucking hours?
At the cellar, and he was so good. He was like, It was when he was doing those Radio City Hall shows.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like hanging out. 45 minutes of it was him and Chris Rock just talking. So you're almost like, oh, we're watching a podcast of Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. But it went like in waves where he would just be fucking crushing. And then there would be moments where he's just like staring at a lady's purse, smoking a cigarette. And you're like, what's going on here? And then right back to like 5 minutes later, just annihilated.
But you're staying for the good shots.
And it was like me, List, Norman, and Schultz just sat at this table and watched them for like
See, those
hours.
are the moments, though, that you're like, I do love them. I'm glad I've had them, but I'm also glad that I
don't do them
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah,
dude, we're getting old. We're like, my dick gets hard to be home with my girlfriend and dog at like 10 p.m.
Oh, Daddy gets tired.
I just love throw on a Jeopardy.
Oh,
Let's
man, dude. Can
I
watch The Wheel and Jep back to back, dude?
Yeah, dude. And I used to be like, I remember being out and being like, it's 2 a.m. It's early.
Yeah,
I still have like 3 hours of drinking.
The whole night left.
Yeah. And then now I'm like, what am I doing up at 2 a.m.?
What was it? What did you didn't have like a physical rock bottom moment to quit drinking. You wanted to quit drinking. It wasn't like something like, some people get in a bad accident.
Oh, yeah, I didn't kill nobody.
Nobody died.
I didn't lose anybody.
Nah, see? Yeah.
I didn't lose a relationship.
Bitch. Not real, let you kill.
Get out of here. Yeah, I just had, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
My family had a problem with it. I knew from the time I was young that both, like 3 out of my 4 grandparents struggled with drinking. Both my parents struggled with drinking. So I was like, I was good at it. I was like too
One
good
of the
at
best.
it. I would just
still got a couple trophies up there somewhere.
I would just step in and be like, Yeah, I'll go all night, no Coke needed.
A no Coke needed guy. That's great, dude. You're a champ.
I won't say which comic, but there was a comic we were hanging out on like a Saturday, and he was on blow and I wasn't.
Normand. No,
No.
I'm kidding.
And he tapped out.
Oh shit!
And I was like-
and you were without blow?
I mean, I was like one-eyed, but I was like, yeah.
King drinker.
And then I, was sick for the next 2 days. But it just became a lot of shit where I was like, and then people were telling me, they're like, you should quit drinking. You should look at your drinking. And it was.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign from friends.
Yeah, when you start getting emotionally hungover, like that's going to happen inevitably as you get older. But just like having those mornings where I was like, dude,
fuck this.
And then I watched Joe List quit. My drinking crew coming up was like.
Was Bargatze back then drinking with you boys?
It was Nate, me, Joe List, and then Norman was like the loose four.
He's still holding on.
He's the only one left. He's the last scion, dude. He's the last one. He's the last samurai. He's the last one going.
Hey, I'm gay.
Hey,
Gonna
let's
keep
get
drinking.
hammered. That's a good Norman.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's great. But we used to drink, and then List stopped drinking, and we would like. Joe said something one time. He's like, "Do you remember when we would take a night off, and then the next night be like, look at us, we don't have a problem. We drink 6 nights in a row, take one night off, and be like, yeah, we're fine. We got this.
We're fine.
Yeah, and
we
then
took off Sunday.
yeah, and then Joe quit." And like 3 months in, I was like, how is it? He's like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, once you get through it, he's like, me and you. And he said something. He was like, there's no new way for me and you to get drunk. We've done it all. And I was like, oh, shit. And I read this book. Nikki Glazer got me this book called The Easy Way to Quit Drinking by Alan Carr. And I read it and just fucking.
Who's Alan Carr? Do I know that name?
Quit smoking guy.
Oh, I was like, why does that name sound so familiar?
Guy used to be a huge piece of shit. Learned how to clean it all up. Some British guy.
I used to be a huge piece of shit.
Oh, it was a
Follow my lead.
Jason Statham is Alan Carr. I got the easy way to get killed.
You want to stop fucking sheep? Read my book.
Yeah, I got the easy way to stop molesting your daughter. It's like stuff where you're like, dude, I can't get behind this.
That's such a good impression of Statham.
He's like, you want to stop? I'll tell you how to stop exposing yourself to children. It's like easy steps. But
and the book cover is a picture of him exposing himself to kids looking back at
the wink with the jacket open. But I used the drinking book and then I used the smoking book. Alan Carr helped me get off booze and smoke.
Smoking for some of my friends is way harder than drinking.
I would go back.
So many friends were like, fuck this, I can't stop smoking.
Katie and I, throughout the pandemic, were like, it's impressive we haven't started smoking because she's a former smoker. And we're just like, we both know if we're going back to anything. I would go back to cigarettes 10 times before I would go back to drinking.
Yeah, because they are.
If I go back to drinking, cigarettes are back.
But also, drinking, you physically can feel the effects so much quicker. Cigarettes aren't going to hit you as fast in terms of you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love them.
Were you a pack a day guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. More?
When I worked in Alaska, I got up to like 2 packs a day.
Scumbag.
Because smoke breaks are also breaks.
Yeah, you just don't want to work. You're like, I want to chill out.
Yeah,
I'm fucking tired, dude.
Comics are so lazy. Yeah. That's why we do what we do, because this isn't a real job.
When can I work? An hour a night? Can I do 1 hour a night?
Can I do 15 just this Thursday? But it got, like, when I worked up at the cannery in Alaska, you would, like, if you had 2 cigarettes back to back, you got twice as long as a break.
Oh, it's so nice.
So I just, when one's going out, you just pull out another Camel Light.
Ooh, like the light one with the other?
Yeah, you're like,
yeah, that chain hit.
All right.
That feels good.
I love
Your boss is like, hey, said, wait, is that a new cigarette? Like,
yeah.
Same? No,
same one, not Lou, same cigarette.
By the way, your boss's name is always Lou.
It was Lou and Lynn. Those were the dock bosses.
That's
and then
so dope.
There was a Filipino boss named Aladdin. And he
was on the lam for sure. This guy was on the
He only
run.
had 4 teeth on his bottom gum.
Yeah.
And he would.
How many more do you need?
God, dude, I don't know, but he could chomp. He could chomp. He would bum cigarettes off me, so that got me more breaks.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because I was on the dock crew, but I would drive into processing, and he'd be like, "Cigarette," and I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, you want a cigarette?"
You got it, buddy.
He spoke barely any English, mostly Tagalog, but I was like, "Dude,
how does that guy end up in Alaska?"
I don't know how any of them do.
Well, whites are meanderers, and so
we either want land, oil, money, or fucking.
And that's all up there, by the way.
It's all up there.
Land, oil.
You get paid to live up there.
Wait, they move like they fly you up
when
there?
you become. It used to be. I don't know. It could change, but I think like if you're an Alaska resident, you you sign up to be an Alaska resident, you get like a check for like $1,200.
Because they're like, we need more humans.
Well, there's also oil up there, so they're like, we're making a shit ton of money off oil. And if
That's the wildest thing about when you go up north, like you go to northern Canada or any of that stuff. Everybody you meet has connective tissue to that oil game, and you're like, wow, dude, this runs deep. How many people? Like I met a guy in we're out in the desert in Palm Springs, and he sold big. He was retired at like 48, and he sold big rig machines for oil. And I was like, oh, dude, how'd you get into that? He's like,
Tonka trucks. He's like, I just loved Tonka when I was a kid, learned how to dig.
Yes.
I'm a millionaire.
But he was like, oh, bud, dude, fucking driving a truck. And I was driving trucks. And I said, dude, I'll fucking own them because someone was renting them. And I said, I'll own one and fucking lease it out to you, bud. So I did that. He goes, I did it twice. I did it 3 times. Then I bought an old company that was failing. I fucking knew how to fix them, sold them. And he did this until he finally grew a fucking empire of trucks. I was like, that's like the most fun way to become a millionaire. You're like, I got this. All right, I know how to do this.
Yeah, but you work, that's bottom up.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, well, I did the thing. I know what's broke about the thing.
Right.
I'll work my way until
they buy it all from me.
Until I'm the guy.
Like, did you ever see Donut King? Do you ever see that documentary?
No.
I think I've talked about it on the show before. I mean, it's a documentary basically about like LA has more donut shops per capita than any city in the United States. And it's mainly because of this one dude who was an immigrant who basically influenced all these other dudes to come here to open up these shops. Because most of them are run by, I'm going to be dumb here, but I want to say they're Thai or Filipino. I'm going to get laced up online. People are going to be like, how do you not remember? Yeah. But this dude, so what he would do is, Winchell's, you ever heard of Winchell's Donuts?
Dude, Winchell's was my shit.
Okay.
Up.
So Winchell's.
Right, the Winchell's right there on Chambers and Hamden and
Aurora.
Right,
you're on it. So Winchell's had a program. So this dude, his name, okay, so he's from Cambodian refugee. Sorry, Cambodia.
Woo! Thank God you looked that up.
Dude, the Bodians are going to fuck me up.
Dude, you would get bodied by some Bodians.
But what he did was he came here, long story short, and spoiler alert if you're going to watch it, but he basically went through the Winchell's program. They taught you how to operate a franchise. Then he was like, well, I'm going to open my own.
Yeah,
so he did. And he was like, this is fucking killing it. Any Cambodian that would try to come here through the grapevine would get a hold of him through these, family, friends, and network, and he would loan them money to open up their own store.
Go open up your own Planet.
And he would teach them. So he was basically a fucking, he was like the franchise king, and I won't tell you the rest of the documentary. I don't want to ruin it.
That's fucking crazy.
But he was a genius. He was like, you're going to teach me how to make the donuts?
Yeah, this guy, when I moved to New York, I worked for a restaurant company that's been sold off now. But when I worked at this restaurant called Dos Caminos, so it's like fancy Mexican food because they don't have Mexican food on the East Coast. Or they do, but it's
the one thing we do that you guys cannot even fucking compete a little bit. There ain't no Mexican food out there.
It's not good.
It's bad.
And we both lived in Arizona.
Yeah.
So you can't even the Tex-Mex style or anything. You're like, this isn't. Todd Barry's got a great joke where he's like, I think they can figure out a quesadilla. He's like, tortilla, melted cheese. I think they can figure it out. It's fucking great. But it was like a fancy, they had the fancy version of every, the fancy seafood place was Blue River. They had all these different, which was an awesome softball league. If you worked at the restaurant, that softball league was like a beer league on Mondays.
Were you clutch at softball?
I was left field. I was smoking cigarettes,
just
diving for
ripping
balls,
heaters, diving,
ripping butts, and I would dive for balls. I was wanting to because I was still drinking, so I'd be half in the bag by the 5th inning.
Sure.
And I would dive for balls I didn't need to dive for, and they're like, Soder! I'm just like,
everyone's like, can of corn. You're like,
and I would just dive and miss it, and then get up. And one time, the best throw I've ever had in my life, I swear to God, Santino, the greatest a ball has ever came out of my hand and left was in that fucking softball league. My friend Elvira, just this sweet girl, Elvira.
Oh, for a second I thought this was a dude. I'm like, Elvira, the dude?
Yeah, no. And not the spooky haunted queen.
Right.
My friend Elvira from the Bronx. Just this sweet little girl playing a catcher. Because you had 2 girls on the field at one time. So we had one at catcher and then our friend Kelly who could ball at second base.
Right.
Dude, I'm in left field and I did it. I tried to dive and I missed it. Guy rounds one of the guys tries rounding third. Dude, I picked up that ball and with a crow hop put it on a rope.
It was
put it on a
dialed in.
The only time I've ever done it in my life. Put a fucking laser All she had to do was just put the glove up, and she was like, eek! And then it went again. And I was like, no! That was the best throw I've ever had.
when you let go of it and you're like, holy fuck, I'm a pro athlete.
Yeah, I like held it. I was like, that is so sweet.
Across your body. Yeah.
And then, it scared a lady.
It scared, well, anytime you throw balls is going to scare a lady. By the way, that second girl that you're talking about, everybody has 2 girls on the team in these men's leagues. And one of the 2, no offense, is Elvira.
Yeah.
And the other one is a gangster.
Dude.
Is tougher than almost all the dudes on the squad.
Kelly was a bartender, and I'd watch her turn 2, and I was like friends with her and her husband John, and I'd be like, it was beauty.
It was magic.
It was beauty at work to watch her snag it and fucking, and then just bam.
She's doing the no glove flips.
Yeah, dude,
look away.
just a barehander right to it. But it was, and then, dude, just like be drinking Tecate Tall Boys, and you're just like 3 in Central Park smoking Camel Lights. You're like, this is, I gotta
tell you, it does sound pretty fun.
It was awesome.
It was awesome,
dude. Joe List. I'll get back to the original point of this, but Shane Moss was doing Conan.
I love that dude.
Yeah, he's great.
I've seen him a long time, man.
This was like 2007, 2008. Okay. Late Night with Conan is still at Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And List and I are fast buds. And he's like, dude, my buddy from Boston, Shane Moss, was living in Boston from Wisconsin. He's like, Shane Moss is doing his second Conan. You should come watch it. I can't get you backstage, but I can get you like Conan tickets. And we had just won the championship in that softball league. And I was hammered. And I was like, I would love to see a Conan. And I, in my softball shirt, put on jeans from my backpack. I'm like sweaty. And I just took the D train down to Rockefeller Center, got in, and was like late. So I had to lie and be like, I'm here with the comedian. And as a comic, you kind of know how to
look at you and they're like, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
They sat me right by the Max Weinberg 7. And I was just drunk. And I remember having to piss so bad.
And not being able to get up, yeah.
But I liked it because it was air conditioned. I was like, oh, this is sweet.
The small things.
Yeah, I was like, this is pretty, I got to piss, but this is nice.
And Shane crushed.
Murdered.
That dude always killed on Conan, man.
Murdered.
He always killed.
It was awesome. But the guy that owned the company that owned all those restaurants was this guy, Steve Hansen. And basically, same thing as you're talking about the donut guy. He worked at TGI Fridays, and they basically laid out their corporate thing, and he's like, oh, I'll just do upscale TGI Fridays.
I'm stealing that.
And then just put in, because they would have like their policies.
Right.
Every restaurant was the same. We all had to go to the same alcohol classes. You would be there with like Bluefin or like fucking Ruby Foose. And it's like different things, but then...
Was there one called Ruby Foose?
Yeah, it was next to Caroline's.
Oh my
Right next to Caroline's. Now it's a
Foose.
Junior's Cheesecake, but yeah, Ruby Foose.
And this dude just owned all this shit.
Dude,
and is he gone? Did he sell it all?
Millions.
He's like, fuck this, I'm out. Yeah.
He would bring in his family and his kids, who are like probably older teenagers now.
Yeah.
Were the meanest kids. And I don't even know if I should redact this because, this guy's a powerful guy.
You'll be okay.
I don't know, dude. His kids they would terrorize the staff in a way that I was like, yo, this is like a fucking movie. It's we're talking about a massive restaurant, 2 floors on 50th and 3rd. And
wow.
And this is pre-housing collapse. So you're talking Bear Stearns, Blackstone, all those finance guys would go have dinner with their side pieces and shit.
Yeah, or
have business dinners right there in the building.
Wow.
It was like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he would come in with his kids, and it was like fucking drop everything and make sure this guy and his family have the best time.
And they had to treat these kids like they were grown-ups and whatever they wanted.
Knew it.
Yeah. Go get me a Coke, Dan.
My dad can fire you.
Would say that. Little fucking...
Said it to my buddy Pete. My dad can fire you. And I was like, and I can take you to a warehouse in Staten Island and probably get $800,000 if I do the phone call right. You ever want to see your son again?
He's like, it better be more than that.
Yeah. It's like, also, Dan Soder doesn't have to do silverware for the next. It's like, that's how you give yourself up.
No more side work for Dan.
No more folding napkins for lunch.
We're not going to fucking marry salts ever again.
Yeah. And by the way, salsas is never on the lunch closer. So he doesn't have to bring down molcajetes.
Dude, remember doing, we've talked about restaurant shit too.
Dude,
I remember having to do side work, and then sometimes when I keened up, pay someone else to do it because I was like, this is killing me so much
that
I'll just lose a little bit of money tonight
Dude.
and just fucking have someone else do it. And someone would always be like, I'll do your bullshit side work. You give me fucking money.
We had to do napkins. That was the thing.
Ah,
You had
dude,
to
gun
fold
in my mouth.
You had to fold. They would come in these like, we're talking big industry New York City restaurants. So they have a deal with a laundry place there. A truck shows up, gives it to the porters. But it would be these like stacks of fucking napkins.
Ugh.
And you'd have to cut the thing off and you'd open it and it would smell like a Wednesday night, but it was laundered. It smelled like a wet Wednesday night. And you'd have to sit there and like, that's when you hear the crazy of the whole staff.
Yeah.
'Cause everyone's just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like a girl being like, I woke up in Harlem last night and I was in the street. And you're like, what? What's up, Ashley? And she's like, you said you would take my Thursday shift. And she's like, You just see all the crazy shit with people. But you get to a point when you're a senior server where you're like, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah, don't do that shit anymore. Fuck that.
In here, we pour whiskey.
You got a busy life. You're a busy bee. You're a busy little bee buzzing around town. And you know what? You need someone to help you with errands. And sometimes it's just more than food. Doordash is more than just food. They get all sorts of knickknacks for you that you need. They're incredible. Doordash can get it to your door right now. Along with the restaurants you love, you get groceries, other essential items delivered with Doordash. Get drinks, snacks, and other household items in under an hour. Come on. Under an episode of The Sopranos. Craving late night ice cream? Forget that one key ingredient for dinner. Maybe you just need to stock up for the week. DoorDash is the place, man. With over 300,000 partners, you can support your neighborhood go-tos. Choose from your favorite restaurants, whether it's Cheesecake Factory or it's Chipotle. You know? You can get whatever you need from DoorDash. DoorDash is incredible. If you haven't heard of it, come on, man. Where you been living? What's been going on? For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees. 25% off, zero delivery fees. Your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code WHISKEY. Download the DoorDash app, enter the code WHISKEY. 25% off, up to a $10 value, zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store. Enter the code WHISKEY. Don't forget, that's code WHISKEY for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Do you want to feel safe in your home? I bet you do. I would like to feel safe in my home. I want to feel simply safe, if I'm being honest with you. U.S. News, PC Magazine, Popular Science, they all have ranked SimpliSafe Home Security as the best home security of 2021. Okay? That's pretty incredible. I got to tell you, SimpliSafe was amazing. They sent a box to my house, and we had like little cameras, but then they give you these little sensors for the doors. They give you a full kit of everything you would ever need to keep your house safe and protected. And it's got sensors and cameras already included. Wireless outdoor security camera, which I love, that I put over the garage. Don't you try to get in my garage. And SimpliSafe is less than $1 a day. You can set it up in around 30 minutes, and it's easy to use. I did it by myself with these stupid hands. There's never a long-term contract, and you can even try for 60 days, risk-free. All right? See if you like it. If you don't, send it back. Free of charge. Pretty cool. SimpliSafe protects over 1 million homes in the United States alone. And you know what? Make yours one of them. If you want to feel safe and comfortable, they have all the materials to do that with SimpliSafe. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/whiskey. You know it, baby. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera. Free. Inside, watch your dog or the kids that you leave home alone when you're out having a nice dinner. You can claim it for free, plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to simplisafe.com/whiskey, simplisafe.com/whiskey.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Why is it that the restaurant industry brings out, I don't know if it influences you to become, here's what made me think of this. The other night, we went bowling. My little sister was in town, and we went bowling, and it was like Monday night after 7 p.m. is industry night, so it was half off. And you know, in the restaurant world, it's like, that means everyone goes out and gets drinks together and all that shit and blah, blah, blah. But it was like the business of being in the restaurant business was so influential to like heavy drinking and drug use. And I was like, did any of these people drink and do drugs before they got these jobs? Because I feel like everyone I knew that was in the game was a full-blown alcoholic.
Well, what it is you're taking people's shit all day.
All day.
So you want to let it loose at night.
But I was a big drinker, so for me, I was like, this is great.
Dude.
This is everybody's like me.
Getting drunk. I worked a double one time, and me and my buddy Jose went over to this bar over on 2nd Avenue, and we were doing, he was telling me about having blue moons with splashes of orange juice. So we were doing blue moons with orange juice and then double Jamesons. Oof. On our fucking break.
Oh, buddy.
On our break. Dude, I came back and Jose and I were working the dining room together, and we had a 13 top that we had to split, and it was Tori Amos.
Wait,
Tori Amos, the singer.
The singer, yeah.
Showed up with 12 of her friends, and Jose and I are hammered.
Annihilated.
Yeah, and we are waiting on them.
You guys want fucking bread?
Dude, at one point, Tori almost grabbed my hands and she was like, "You have a beautiful soul." And I was just, I was like, "Thank you, Tori."
Am I gonna fucking pump Tori Amos tonight?
Am I about to break off Tori Amos? What are you doing later? Go to the sports page. It's over there on second. You want to go to Pig and Whistle and get hammered, Tori
Come on,
Amos?
Tamos. Come on, Tamos.
But we, like, the restaurant industry, here's how I feel about when I find out people in entertainment have worked in the restaurant industry. It's the same way I feel when I find out a politician served in the military.
Oh.
Where I'm like, all right, you did your time.
You did it. Yeah, you've
You
been through
put
some shit. Yeah.
Don't trust any entertainer that has not had to eat shit.
That's right. Because when you eat shit and you're eating shit on your come up, like you're eating shit at your job and then you're eating shit at night because you're doing mics and you're driving 40 minutes to get 6 minutes and you're like, fuck. You're eating shit during the day and at night. There's building this structural, either a phenomenal comedian or a full-on murderer psychopath. Yeah.
Which, by the way, will probably be more successful than that comedian.
For sure.
Because they're going to learn how to navigate the system
Right.
just to get out of the burning fire.
Well, because I said to my dad, what billionaire do you know, or like that success rate? Who's sane? You can't name one sane billionaire.
You have to be insane.
Anybody that comes to a point, and I say that the same parallel of like any that's been, when you've been through so much in our business or whatever, you kind of are like, well, you got to be kind of a loopy weirdo to even sustain chaos for this long.
Do you want to go back for more?
Yeah, it's disgusting. Like it's masochistic. Why?
Because I think that's like, you have to have a part of your brain that can turn off the part that's like, go be safe. Go be happy.
So you're insane.
Yeah. You have to have that. We're all psychos and phonies.
Yeah.
Every single comedian's either a psycho or phony. I said that, Jay and I were talking about.
What if you're a psycho and a phony?
There's double dippers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of double. I know some double dippers. I know some phony psychos.
That's so
but
funny.
like Louis J. Gomez, who's one of my friends and a psycho, always used to call me out on, you know what, dude, and be like, he's like, you're a psycho. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm just nice.
Yeah, nice psycho.
So people,
you're a wonderful psychopath.
I'm just a nice guy, but I'm a fucking nutbag.
Yeah, weirdo, nutbag. And this is the thing about being in the psycho comedian sphere, is like when you're a weirdo or a nut and you can flip, it's also the thing that people like the most about you because they're like, your brain fire's so weird.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, I'm not looking at this situation from a fun angle because I'm normal. Right. I'm doing it because it's like, I don't know.
Something's afoot
I've been
upstairs.
dinged up.
I've been dinged up.
It's like, you know,
when
you put your thumb over the hose, you know, and it comes out stronger and weirder. That's just all comedy is. It's like we got a thumb over our brains.
That by the way, you just gave me an image when I first moved into my house up here.
Yeah.
I got tanked one night and I was so proud. I sat on the patio and I was like, I did it. Like I got a house. I worked all these years and I like got a place of my own. And then immediately turned into my dad and I was like, I gotta water the lawn. And my lady comes out.
Take care of this.
She comes out and she's like, babe, it's like 3. And I'm doing the thing with the thumb and the hose, and I'm equally spreading it out. I'm like, 20 more minutes or so. An hour goes by. She's like, you're drunk, dude. Stop. Please stop.
So funny.
Because I just felt like I was like, this is what I need. I get to control. This is my land.
You're a landowner.
It's me.
And I'll tell you, I don't know what it's like, but I just can imagine that land owning hits that white blood ears.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And you get it.
Uh-huh.
That's that greed gene.
I go out there, I yell racial epithets in the backyard.
This is my land. This is not your land.
I grab a Native American, bring him over, and be like, my land.
Mine. Manifest.
Get out of here.
Manifest destiny.
Back to the res.
Also, it's funny to hear your Chicago accent come out on patio.
Yeah, patio. Yeah.
You go patio.
You know what's so funny? It's gone away over the years, but
does it go back when you're around family?
Oh yeah, if I
Jay
go
gets around his family, and that was the first person I saw where he gets his Philly accent. Katie gets her Boston accent a little bit, little mass.
She always kind of has it. There's like in the back.
It's gone for the most part, and
really?
Then she's around her family.
I feel like when I hear her say some stuff, sometimes I'm like, that's not well. It's obviously not. Well, New York is not what is New York other than. If you're Puerto Rican, you have one. Yeah. If you're a white New Yorker, you're like, well, you don't have an accent. You're just a white person that lives in New York.
I don't know. The boroughs got them. Queens and
you got to be kind of deep. You got to be an old school white. A new school white doesn't do that.
Yeah, I'm wondering when Giannis's accent's going to really kick in. It's coming soon.
It's on its way.
He's almost hitting accent age.
It's on its way.
Yeah.
He's in a perfect little spot right now. Yanni just went and did Joe Rogan, and he brought a dude that. Do you know the dude that does a show with him now?
No.
He just posted a picture because somebody for the 50th time, every time Giannis goes on.
This is what being a comic is. It's like instead of your friends having new girlfriends, they have new podcast partners.
New podcast partners.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, they look happy.
Oh, yeah,
together.
Jared Harvin.
Jared Harvin. All
Jared
right. I've
Harvin?
heard that name.
I think that's, Jared Harvin. But he, but anyway, my point was some dude tweeted at me and was like, dude, one of your closest friends is DeStefano. And he's like, Giannis can get this other guy that I've never heard of on Rogan, but you can't get DeStefano. Because Stefano's never done it, and he talks about it all the time. That is like, he came on my show and was like, Joe Rogan, I'll only come on your show if you wrestle me nude and let me suck your cock. And then I'm like, that's why he doesn't want you on the show.
Yeah, it's aggressive.
Don't threaten to suck his cock. Okay?
He's like, I'm Chrissy Cocksucks. I'll suck you till you're coming in my tummy. And you're like, yeah, Chris, I don't think that's like, I think you're sexually harassing a man.
He would like him on the show, but people always say, they're like, how come you can't get him on the show? I'm like, Chris is successful enough. He could get on the show if he needs to get on the show.
Yeah.
But also,
Chris is doing theaters, dude.
That's what I said. I say you're doing fine anyway. You don't need it. But Chris does want to go on because they want to have an N-word off. I think he wants to do like who could say it more.
You were talking about eating shit, and I think that's like a thing that I always love was when I find out what shit people have had to eat, and not even outside of the business. I think it's just good for any human being. It's good to be humbled, consistently. But with like entertainment, what happens is they give you like such a big plate of shit that you eat it, and then they give you a little less shit. And you're like, oh, this is
every
nice.
year you eat less shit.
And then you get to the point where you're not eating shit, and that's where it turns against you.
You kind of want to eat a little bit of shit.
You should always be eating a little bit of shit.
Then you got to where to find it.
Yeah, just eat a little turd
of
something that you're like, I don't want to do this.
But the turd has to be a certain temperature. At some point, you're like, can I have a little bit of warmth on the turd?
I want cold turd this time. It's like a hot turd. It's all loose.
I've been eating hot shit for a long time.
I've been eating a lot of loose stool, and I ain't down with it anymore.
You do, though. It does shape you as a fucking human being. And I do think it is. That's like, at least if you come from a place where your parents, had a little bit of strife in their career, it makes you go, oh man, it shouldn't be easy for anybody, I guess, because then it all makes you a little bit. Then you relate a little bit more.
Yeah,
then the broad sensibility helps you go, well, I know what this is like to. Because I talked to a dude the other day. He's like, I don't want my kids, and this guy's very successmal, and I'm not gonna. But he is. Way beyond, and he's like, I'm trying to make sure my kids aren't assholes. And when they took him to Disneyland, and they didn't get the VIP, whatever the fuck they do, whatever it is at Disneyland.
Shout out Six Flags.
That's Six Flags, which we just did. I just did the Flash Bash. But he was like, I'm trying to make my kids not be assholes, so we waited in lines, and the problem was one of the kids had the other experience where he's like, why can't we just go through the way like we did before?
Yeah.
And he's like, that wasn't
that was broke.
That was a fake thing. We did that because that was a thing.
Because you have cancer.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Yeah, you have child leukemia.
You're riddled with it. It's all your whole body. It's in your blood.
Remember when you went to bed early, you slept it off, so you don't have cancer anymore. I've been giving my kids fake cancer. Thank God I don't have
You're good
kids.
now, but Tuesday, I think you'll get it again.
Yeah, dude, you're going to get leukemia if you don't eat your vegetables. It's threatening cancer on your kids.
But he goes, I want to do that again. And he was like, it was so hard because a piece of me, he goes, as me, wanted to go, dude, I've worked really hard. I want to just skip the fucking line.
Yeah, I've put my time in doing
But
that.
he goes, I guess I should eat a little fucking plate of shit like we're doing to make it go, kids, this is the real world.
There's a truck of this coming for you.
Right. And I think I was humble because it made sense to me. I was like, wow, man, this dude's very successful. He could fucking whatever he needs.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's pretty cool. He's like, yeah, waiting in line fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He's like, and I didn't want to do it because we had the ability and the access to not have to. But he's like, I think I should do this for this kid because otherwise, everywhere we fucking go,
he's going to be like, let's go.
Why don't we go through the back?
Yeah.
Why don't we go through the back is an idea that like rich kids only know.
But also, it's a thing that comics only know.
No,
when's the last time you were told to go through the front and you're like, wait, so
what for? What's up there?
Who's going to walk me to where I need to go to be comfortable?
Well, dude, like we did, I just played the win and they were like, do you want someone to walk you down to the showroom or we can get you a car and they'll drive all the way around the casino to the back? And I was like, I'll take the car to the casino.
Yeah, dude.
Just because you're like, I want to just... Also, I think people don't realize comics, even though you see us in public and we're these attainable machines that you can be like, my dude, Soder!
Yeah.
Also, right before a show, we'd like a little bit of air of mystery. Like, I still like the hide before you see me.
That is so fucking perfect because there's clubs
Yeah.
that still exist that don't have green rooms.
Which is fucking.
So you just
what's
have
going
to-
on?
You just have to sit in the bar. It's like,
Slumped over in a stool.
yeah, dude.
And they're like,
We used to, Nate and Joe List always used to talk about this, about movies. Like when you leave a comedy show, you know, like when they tell your feature that they liked him better than you, and you're just standing there and you're like, well, all right, I heard that.
yeah.
It's like
Which literally every comic has heard.
every comic.
The biggest guy you know,
My favorite one
the
was
smallest guy you know.
Big J told me that someone did that one time when he was opening for Attell. He's like, that's Dave Attell.
And they
What
were,
are you
and they were like,
talking
yeah,
about?
he sucks.
Yeah, you're like, no. I mean, sure, you like me more, but I'm not. But Nate, Joe, and I always used to joke around about that with like movies. Like, you don't leave Batman and like Bane and Batman. Like, you know, they're all like Tom Hardy and Christian Bale are sitting there, and you're like, you, Gary Oldman, you were good. You were the good one.
Take notes, boys.
Yeah, and then you're like, all right, thanks. But also comics, we get used to being ushered into the back. We get used to being like,
Yeah, you want to hide out a little bit. It helps suspend this idea that you're like, this is it's a performance or a show or whatever you want to call it.
but there's also a thing of, like, the thing I loved about Jon Stewart when he came to the cellar, he had known Michelle Wolf, so she knew him. So, you know, we got like I didn't get like an awkward intro. I got one of my best friends being like, oh, this is my good friend in
That's
comic.
great.
And you're like, hey, guy that I
Admire,
took
love.
journalism as a major because of you,
Yeah.
not realizing that you were just a comic the whole time. But he was like able to be like, sit down and be like, so what shit's on the menu, boys? And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
Key West, Florida this weekend. And he's like, that's a good plate of shit. You know, like immediately wasn't like, ew. Why
No,
are you
he
doing
knows.
that?
He remembers.
Yeah. He
You
asked me
remember-
if it was a Rascals. Because the Rascals was like,
What's
that.
Rascals? Was
It
that
was like
a
an
club?
old club
I never even heard of
chain
it.
from the 80s.
All I knew down there, all I did play down there was Captain Brian's.
Off the hook, dude.
Yeah, off the hook, dog.
Al Madrigal got so excited one time, like 2000 and
Al Madrigal got excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
2000.
this had to been a couple decades ago.
Yeah, but in 2013, we were at like a Comedy Central thing in New York, like their Central Park show.
Yeah.
There was like the after party, and I was telling Schumer and Madrigal that I was going to go work Off the Hook, and they're like, I just started headlining, and they're like, you're going to bomb so hard.
You better believe it.
And I was like, what? And they're like, no, you're going to, and it was July 4th weekend. It was back when it was on Marco Island. And
That's
I
where it
took
was for me. Yeah,
fucking 4 hot ones, 5 hot ones.
dude, it was that was the
Friday,
most
Saturday,
painful
Sunday.
show I've ever had to do.
Oh, in front of that shark jaw.
It was there's a fucking buffet of like shrimp and fucking crab legs.
Bobby Kelly was like, there's just an open window and you see the guys cooking and they're just watching you bomb. And you're like, I know.
And you'll see sometimes they'll look up and be like, and you're like, oh, dude, I see the cooks eat. But you know what? Honestly, again, you still need to eat a little
You
bit of
find
shit.
what's fun about that. You're like, that condo was great. That condo was
Oh my
unbelievable.
God, it was incredible.
Felt like I was selling Coke in South Florida.
You know, that weekend I didn't mind bombing because I got the phone call that I got like my first sitcom.
Yeah.
First sitcom I ever did, I think. I got the ABC show, and I was like, wow. And in my mind, of course, I was like, this is going to change my life forever.
And then you go bomb.
Yeah, they go eat shit. So it was like this weird duality where I'm like, I'm kind of still happy, but I'm sad that this is happening.
Yeah, I got my HBO special on a Tuesday and was eating my dick at the Albany Funny Bone on Friday.
But look at that. But isn't that kind
Just being
don't you
like-
need that both? You need it
Yeah,
both.
that's it. That's the plate of shit.
Yeah, that's
So when you're
nice.
eating it, you go, well, I got that plate of fucking great food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll eat the shit because then
You
I
gotta
get to
nibble
eat the
on
great
some of this
food.
poop.
Yeah, you know, I'll
Wash it down.
exactly.
Well, are you doing, by the way, tonight? Well, this is already going to be out by
Yeah.
the time this happens, but you're going to do your hour tonight. Is this going on? So are you like, is this what you want
No,
to
I'm
tape
still
soon?
building.
You're still
I'm still
going
building. I
for it.
want to disappear for like, you know, I think we're in the age of accessibility. We have to put more out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I drop like, you know, I'm filming a lot of sets, and if I have like, hey, I like this 30, I'll dump it.
Do you take someone with you to film all that stuff?
No, it'll be depending on the city.
Yeah.
If I know that there's like someone my friends have used or someone, I'll be
Right.
like, oh, I'd like to film my sets.
Are you going to film tonight?
Yeah.
Good.
So
I always have this kind of slight dream of filming a special at the Comedy Store, just because like the history of when they used to.
Oh
do
yeah, Louis did
specials
one there
Yeah.
for that reason.
And Dave.
Yeah.
I just have this weird thing where I'm like, oh, it kind of would be nice, but also it's home, so it feels a little. You know what it feels like if you ever knew a pro athlete and then you go watch them play at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because you're like, they're so used to it. They're so comfortable.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it.
Right, it's weird. And for
But that
you, it
could-
is.
Yeah,
But for them, they're like, yeah, it's a fucking another day.
and that could lend a different take on the material where you're like more
100%.
comfortable with it. You know,
Or
take
you get a
longer.
little bit lazier too because you're like, this is home. I do this here all the time.
But that's why when I did the HBO special in New York, that was for that specific reason where I was like, I want to feel like I want to ride. I rode the train to my special. Like
I love that.
I
You
took
and
the-
Jay-Z, man.
yeah, much different tax brackets. But I took like, because I was like, I want that feeling of when I get off the train. Now I could have filmed it and jerked myself off, but I was like, I actually just want to do that. And it was like kind of cool to come out of the subway
And to go to the venue.
and like cross the street and be like,
Yeah.
hey, and see the trucks. And you're like, that's fucking cool. Louis did that with, I think it was hilarious when he did it at the Beacon Theater.
Yeah.
Where he like, you watch him walk from his house into
To
the
the
thing. And it
Beacon.
was like, that's so cool.
That
That's
is so fucking.
because it lends itself that you're more like, dude, I get nervous to do stand up in LA.
Do you?
Yeah. Everyone's hot. Everyone's
Well,
important.
Well, you know what, dude? It's just because it's the other side of the family. Like,
Yeah. It
it's-
really is. That's
it's
a
like
good
when
way to
I
put
go to
it.
New York. Every time I go to New York and I go play the cellar or something like that, or go pop in somewhere and have some fun, my immediate reaction is like, oh, I gotta go say hi to her uncle. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I've got to go do all this, but it all works out, and you're like, oh, this is great. It's a head.
It
thing.
is. It's a head, but it's funny because then the most comfortable you come in rooms are like cities that you just go to a lot that you have no personal connection to, like Providence. I'm going to be at Comedy Connection, and I'm just like, I've worked the room for 10 years now, and you're just like, I just have fun. Just show
Would
up.
you ever shoot something there?
That would be interesting.
See, that to me seems like the play. That
I
little like,
wanted to do the HBO special. One of the first ideas I had was doing it at Helium in Portland
oh
because
yeah,
I just like every weekend I've ever had there, I'm like, this is incredible.
so fun.
And it's been done before. Stanhope did a special at Gotham and just changed the way it looked. Ari did Cap City and changed
Cap
it.
City, yeah.
Rogan did Comedy Works and changed it. They're
Yeah.
like, you just go in and change a club to make
Yeah,
it
I've thought
look.
about that. I think I would do. I think if I do another one, if I don't just quit stand up today, I
Nice.
think I'll do Boston for some reason.
Really?
I don't know
You
why.
just have a good time there?
I think they think I'm theirs.
Yeah, they do.
They look at me and they're like, it's
Dude.
maybe it's the Burr
I'm tell-
effect because it's the redheaded dickhead thing, but
It's-
they're like, he's one of ours.
There's just people that have Boston looks
Yeah.
that you can just walk amongst the zombies there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, Gillis, dude.
Yeah, Gillis 100%.
I brought Shane with me to Laugh Boston years ago, and he just stepped in and it was like Elvis was on stage. Like there were like girls were whipping.
There he is, kid.
Girls are just whipping panties and they're like, he's fucking large. Look at him. He looks Irish, but I don't know. I fucking loves Notre Dame. He's got a Notre Dame. He had like a Notre Dame zip up on, and they
Oh,
were like,
please, they're coming.
they
They're all,
flood the
they're
room.
all coming right there.
Everyone's coming. They're like, oh, fuck. But it's like, yeah, certain, if you have a Boston face, you could go to Boston.
It is one, and funny as I'm from Chicago, but it's like Chicago doesn't have a look.
Nope.
There's so many different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boston has like a fucking look of
Dude.
human. Philly has kind of like a look of human.
If
Yeah.
I fucking put on fleece and talk about trail mix, good luck following me in Denver. This voice that was built in the Rockies.
What are those shoes? I can't think of now.
Oh,
Tevas, yeah.
with socks.
Bro,
I'll
you and
strap up.
Tevas. Woo!
Talk about some 14ers. What do you want to get into?
some teeners, dude.
Yeah, dude.
We gonna hike all the
Talk about-
teeners this year.
You guys are going to talk about bike to work day?
You do have this like I
All
grew
my
up in the
friends
mountains
have it.
voice.
All my friends have it.
Really?
All my friends
You're
are
all real
oddly
men?
tall white dudes that are just like, hey, you're from Colorado. It's just like, you meet my friends and they're like, yeah, you're from Colorado. There's just
Do you
like
have a
this-
car in New York or no?
No,
If you did, what would it be?
probably a Subaru.
I
I'd probably get a Toyota Highlander.
don't know, jack it up a little bit. Put
I'll
it
be
on some
dead
fucking
honest. Nissan Altima.
Why is the Ultima the choice?
Love an Altima because it's not a
Simple,
Maxima.
sexy, fun.
I'm not wagging my dick at you. But I could be an Uber, or I could be a guy that's just like a Warren Buffett type.
Just
really trying to
doing it right because he drives like a
He drives a real and Nissan. God bless him. When we rent car, I rent a lot of cars
yeah.
because I'll rent even when like, like I'm a Hertz and Enterprise member or whatever. Next week I'm renting to go to Providence, so I'll rent a car for 4 days because then I can go around Providence. But I get an Altima. Boy's juiced.
Woo!
Because I get in, I know where everything is. Set it
What's
all
up, bitches?
Dude, I know where where all the paddles are. I know
Oh,
how
you
to
got all your
switch-
shift. You
I
got all
can
your knobs and knobs and
Yeah,
switches.
dude, call me Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. I'm just twisting dials. And shit. Dude, the pilot's in.
Yeah, I get it, dude. Once you get to Once you get to a place when you're gold status at Hertz or whatever the fuck, and you're like,
you mean the President's Circle?
they're like,
I'll walk into and I think they just went bankrupt.
Did they really?
Yeah. The Hertz that's by our place in Jersey, like, is gone now. And I'm like,
how, dude?
I don't know. They went bankrupt. Well, beginning of pandemic,
Oh,
they
yeah.
went bankrupt.
Yeah,
and they
'cause
were
no one-
selling their fleet. And we almost bought a car. I almost got an Altima. Your boy almost got a 2018.
My boy almost got laced up. Where were me and O'Connor, because O'Connor comes with me. Me and O'Connor.
I love that,
We were
dude.
driving somewhere, and they couldn't rent us a car. They were like, we don't have like any cars.
I've had that
we
with
had to
Henry.
like wait, and I was like, what do you mean don't have any fucking cars? I was like, there's 30 cars out there. They're like, these are literally all going out. These are already like rented out.
That happens to me by the Enterprise by my mom's house in Aurora. I'll rent a car there if I'm there for like more than 3 days because I ain't gonna take the old lady's whip.
What is she pushing?
She got a nice Toyota. I think she doesn't have a Highlander. She's got
Celica. What are we talking?
No. It's Colorado, so she's got a 4Runner.
Oh, 4Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought
those
her.
are dope.
Yeah, I helped her buy it, which was like that was my fucking.
Wait, you put down some
I
of the
put down
scratch?
most of it.
Didn't that feel good?
It felt the best. Well, also.
It's like when rappers talk about it. They're like, bought my mom a Gucci purse.
Yeah, but I bought my mom a reasonable sports utility vehicle. But she was. My mom was coming home from the gym. Like, she wanted a new car. For her 70th, I was going to buy her a car. My
That's
business
so
manager
sweet.
was like, you can't. And I was like, because I was still in debt from college or whatever.
You're like, what if it's an old car?
Well, at first, he was just like, no go, maybe next year. And so I had told her I wanted to do it. And then I was like, listen, money-wise, I can't do it. She's like, I get it. She was driving home from the gym. She used to go to the gym crazy early, like 4 a.m. Guy had a heart attack and off the highway, off 225, and fucking head-on collision with my mom.
Holy shit.
This bitch walked out of it like the Terminator. She like kicked the door off. Like there was this fire. And so,
I'm fine. Call the authorities.
I'm very proud of my son. Have you ever seen the Showtime show Billions? This is him. Do you know this boy? He kissed Amy Schumer in Trainwreck. it's like shit that no one cares about.
You have seen this film?
Have you seen him? He was, yeah. And so I was working good nights in Raleigh, and I got a text that's like, hey, this is the EMT. I'm with your mom. She's fine. But her car was totaled. And so I was like, you got a new car. So she got insurance money, and I was like, get what? I mean, it was an old-ass 4Runner, like a 94 or some shit. And this was like 2015. So she was able to get like $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, tell you what, you get the insurance money, and I'll pay the difference, and we'll get you a new 4Runner. We got her like a 2015.
That's dope, dude.
It was great.
Doesn't that feel nice to do
Find
that?
your mom used cars, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
But honestly, that's like the comics version of buying something for the rapper buying their mom a house is us buying you a used car.
He's getting us a good deal.
Yeah, I got you a fucking good car.
Check the Carfax. This thing's good to go. This thing's
Zero accidents, Mom. It's been in 2 owners.
And we like it was like cool to help her out and be like, oh fuck.
But does your mom is your mom's retired and all that stuff now? Yeah. So like at this point, she probably has everything she needs. Let's say in the next couple of years, your career goes like absolute ape shit, and you could buy your mom anything. Would she ever want anything? Like, would you want to buy her a house type of shit like that?
Yeah, I would
like
get
how
her,
those rappers do it.
You know, she has like a townhouse right now that she has and she loves, and she's like, I've helped her with like modifications and shit every year.
Yeah.
Like Katie and I got her a fucking 62-inch TV, and she was like coming off like a 43.
Oh, dude, the upgrade.
So we were like,
so much difference.
Yeah, dude.
She's like, I could see all the faces.
Yeah, dude. We were like there for Christmas this past year, and I was like to Katie, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my mom. She's like, yeah, let's go halvesies on a TV.
That's so
And
dope.
so we got her this like big ass TV, and I got to see it when I was working Comedy Works, and I was like, it's like most of her wall, you know?
Her whole wall's a TV. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, it's so big, and you're like, fuck yeah, get it, Trish. And then, so I think, but like,
Trish?
There's like another, like she lives still in Aurora, and she kind of wants to stay around there, but I would get her like, there's like this gated community. Right now she's just a regular townhouse, but there's like this gated that she's obsessed with because she's like, her townhouse is obviously 2 floors.
Yeah.
And she's like 74 now, and she's like, I just kind of want a one floor, like a ranch style, because I'm gonna get old here and die here. And you're like, all right, so that would be the thing that I would buy.
Yeah, get her a nice, beautiful ranch house.
Yeah, just get her
Let's
right.
do it. Guys, click
right
on
off
this link
Parker
right here
Road.
and donate right now to Trish.
Put Trish on a 1 level.
Go to gettrishacrib.com.
You don't want to hear her knees creak. It's like Arvidas Sabonis. My mom played 5 for the Blazers for 4 seasons. Yeah, dude.
Dude, that's like I saw fucking fucking Denver, your boy Elway. I went and played golf at this thing, and dude, I didn't.
I'm a Niners fan, so I just want to let you know.
I know, but
just because I'm from Denver, don't assume I'm.
But also,
fan.
you fucking love Elway because who doesn't?
You can't grow up in Denver and not watch that guy and be like.
But this dude, here he is, like still, like in phenomenal shape, looks really good. But when he was walking around, dude, it was just like.
Yes.
You heard the machine cracking.
That's Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
That's Neil Smith.
You see flashbacks as he's walking.
He's like,
But I said to my dad, he was like, oh, what was he like? I was like, really cool dude, still in really, really good shape. But I was like, watching him walk looked like you could tell. And my dad goes, that's when they used to play football. And I was like, that is true what he's saying, but also
Dad,
they kill each other.
They weren't getting hit by linemen that can run 4.8 40s.
Yeah.
Like they weren't getting hit. It's like,
but now it's even scarier. But think about if they let them do now what they did back then.
Dude,
murders.
Watch that Joe Cool documentary on Peacock about Joe Montana. It's a 5-parter. Put it out during the playoffs. Boy was ready to run through a wall. I was watching Joe Montana documentary, and then the Niners were in the playoffs, beating the Cowboys and the Packers. I was like, I was just ripping shit out. I was going nuts. And we lost to the fucking stupid Rams.
You better believe it.
Oh, you fucking bought your fucking. Are you a Bears fan or Rams?
Yeah, no, I'm not a Rams fan.
Okay, good.
No, but I don't like the Niners, but that's okay.
That's fine. I don't mind that. But they were showing Montana in the late 80s. Dude, he got hit by the Giants. His head fucking banged off the AstroTurf that was like this thick. He had to go to the hospital. And they were like, no flag.
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's legal.
No.
You could just get
good old-fashioned hit.
And Elway was part of that generation.
He got murdered, dude.
Murdered.
He was one of those. Some of those quarterbacks would get just.
He was a scrambler, too.
He loved doing his thing. But you could tell his knees were just indicative of a time that was. It was like, dude, just fucking take the hit, take a shot, get back on the field.
You know what that is? I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. And when you like go to these events and you see like guys from the 80s, you're like, dude, there's Bushwhacker Luke. And he's just like the way they move, it's just all like, fuck.
That's the proof that when somebody's like, it's not real or whatever, you're like, dude, these guys are bullying each other.
Dude, it's just
physically bodying each other all over the place.
Yeah, it's stuntmen in figure skating outfits.
That's my favorite part.
It is, dude. It's a little flair.
Yeah.
So what? They got some flair.
It's a little pizzazz.
But that's like, you abuse your body like that.
Yeah.
And then you just see them old and they're rich still, but they're like, oh, fuck. Hey, no way. My favorite is Buckus.
Except for DDP.
Yeah, because he did
DDP's got the yoga thing.
He's popping them all out of it. But Buckus got on fucking Twitter and just started talking shit. And I don't know. Now with like social media accounts, you're like, is he really running it?
It's not him.
No.
It can't be.
It's
Whenever
too
I read
funny.
those, I'm like, it's too good. If it's too funny, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, you're doing it too well.
Yeah, like and by the way, and the guy that's writing them for you, like kudos, but also peel it back a little bit because it's still obvious.
Aaron Rodgers is a pussy, and you're like, I believe that, and then it's like another whimsical joke where you're like, I don't think he wrote that.
That's too good.
That's too good. That's
like
too.
Who else? Is there somebody else on Twitter that you follow? You go, I don't know.
It was the Iron Sheik.
I love the Sheik, but
I love Sheik.
Yeah, I think that's him.
I think he says stuff and they tweet it out. Yeah.
I think he says a version of
something.
something.
You know what? I'd pull that back because he's always like, I butt fuck you, make you humble.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
I follow the Sheik because I think he's cool. I haven't read one thing once where I've gone,
Iron Sheik rules. Let it be known.
Yeah, he's the man. I've never read one thing where I go,
when I found out
what do you say that?
When I found out he was a pothead, I was like, Iron Sheik is the greatest.
He's the king.
Yeah, he got in trouble with, he was working an angle with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And they got caught smoking a bowl together. And got like fucking
dope.
You're like, that's awesome.
The man.
I love that
Just
shit.
ripping apples before they go out.
They're like, oh, sorry, brother. You want me to sign something? Yeah, dude.
Did you have a dream when you were a kid to be a wrestler?
No, I knew I didn't have the athleticism.
Really? You're athletic, aren't you?
No.
Not at all.
Tall.
Yeah, but you're in good enough shape that you could play a thing.
I'm like mid. You need a body.
What was the one that you did that you did well?
Football, I tackled well, but I didn't understand schemes and shit.
Well, dude, learning plays for a Dumbo, that's a nightmare.
So hard.
That's why I play basketball. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to know shit.
I liked weed way too young.
Yeah, me too.
And it was like a thing where I remember I showed up for a 7v7 for varsity, like my junior year, and they had implemented like Jayhawk, which was cover 2. And they're like, Soder, what's Jayhawk? And I was like, and he's like, cover 2? And I was like,
And you're like, what's that one again?
Yeah, he goes, hook to curl. And you're like, okay, I'm
Speaking
hooked to curl.
Spanish, man.
I don't know, man. Is that where the Will Backer goes? I just fucking smoked weed out of a can.
Did you smoke weed during high school?
Yeah.
Like during school in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
So we used to get high. We used to get high at lunch.
So my high school started super early. You'd start at like 7:15, and then junior year you'd be done by like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So that was.
So you get high when you were done.
Yeah, you just
So
go to
we would get high at lunch. I knew guys that were savage.
I'd get
They'd
high.
before school.
Me too. One of my favorite stories of all
Couldn't
time
do
was we had mobile classrooms because we had like overfilled. You know, they just opened a new high school by us.
Right, you were in the trailers or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, the
they were?
trailers.
Yeah,
You just call them the trailers. So it was like, I'm not gonna brag.
Here it is.
One of the only AP classes I took, I was in AP English.
Whoa.
And it was second period, and I didn't have a first period. And my buddy Joey would come over and we'd do bong rips. And my mom would go to work at like 6:45. He would come over at 7, and we'd get stoned for like 30 minutes. And just one time, my fucking second period, I'm like walking up, and it was winter, and I had snow boots on, and it had been like snowing, and it's like the ramp, and it's like wood. And if you're in the trailer, you hear like doo, doo, doo.
Yep.
You hear people walking up, and then the door opens.
Yeah.
I was so high. I walked halfway up the ramp, and I was like, man, fuck this. And I just turned around. We were reading like Dostoevsky, and I just turned around. I was like, I just went home and sat on the couch with my dog. I was like, fuck that, dude. I just hated it. I hated it. But yeah, I used to get high sometimes before class.
I was always so nervous to get high before school. I couldn't do it, like, because I did it one time, and I had a fucking panic attack because I was like, I'm too high. At least when I would get high at lunch, I would have at least a little bit of time to like level out before I walked in the doors.
Dude, I've gone full circle with smoking weed. I used to get high before sets. I don't get high before a headline anymore.
At all?
I don't fuck with it. Like I'll get high, got high a little high before the podcast, probably get a little high after, but then I'm gonna eat, nap, shower.
Chill, yeah.
And then I'll get high after the show.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40. It's like I'm going up on stage high with like legit adult anxiety. like being like, what is this? What is this going on? And then I'm going to talk to you about what, you know what I mean? Like the pandemic.
Also, if you're really trying to structure something, when I used to get stoned.
It's great to riff, 15-minute sets.
Yeah, if
fun.
I was experimenting, I would have fun.
You see me in New York at the stand.
Yeah.
I might be high.
Yeah, it might be riffing. Yeah.
Because it's 15 minutes.
Right, but if you're trying to really work it out for an hour.
You're also trying to like pace and do well. Like now people are paying money to see us, dude.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
not like we're not in front of a shark jaw with clam mussels getting thrown in a bucket.
The good old days.
Which, by the way, we probably might be in 5 years.
We'll be right back there. Yeah, we're going to be back there soon.
Brian, Captain.
After tonight?
We'll be calling you soon, Captain.
It'll be Captain O Santino. Captain O Soda.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think that was the same way with drinking with me. Like I used to drink.
I itched.
What did you say?
I forgot. I was recording.
You picked.
I did the itch.
Throw it to me.
No.
No, I used to get a little buzzed before I would go on stage, and now, not that I'm against it. Sometimes I will have a drink, but most times I don't anymore. Most times I'm like, man.
Did you ever black out? Did you ever shoot the mark on a 2-night show?
Oh my God, yeah.
Dude, laughs in Kirkland, Washington. I got so banged up.
Just
missed Hurricane Sandy.
And the whole set was gone.
But had a great. Recorded it. Listen back.
It is a good
set.
Yeah.
But
up here, it didn't really happen.
Woke up.
Yeah.
Woke up like, wah!
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, what's going on? Hurricane Sandy hit New York, and I was like supposed to fly out there to do it, and it got like bumped or canceled or whatever. So then I went out there, and I was like mad that I missed Thursday, and I was just starting to headline, so I was like, fuck, don't take that fucking day away from me.
Right.
So now let's go fucking hard. And the first show Friday, I was boozing, doing shots, fucking smoking weed. And then like the second show, I was like, more shots. And then midway through, I'm like, and then lights off.
Disappeared. But you also still killed.
Had fun.
Yeah, I've done it a few times where I'm like.
Had fun. But then the ones you don't.
Oof.
When you get too drunk, and you bomb.
Sad.
It is. Fuck, dude. I had to sit at the cellar. I went to that place, Triona's, that I referenced, and like was on at like 1:50. I was on the midnight show at like 1:15, 1:30. It was right before I quit, and I was on stage, and I was like, "Dude, you swam too far out." I was like on stage, being like, "Why are you?"
And everybody's like,
"Yeah," but I'm on stage, and I'm like, "You guys, flashlights. Why Why would you even have them on your phone? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And you're
The
like,
drunk crowd is
You're
like,
hold on,
what the fuck?
Let me read. Let
And
me
I just
read it what
remember-
I wrote.
I
Yeah.
remember waking up and being like, oh.
Yeah.
I remember the feeling on stage, but then I remember waking up the next day being like, fuck.
Well, because you want to give everyone such a good show,
You want to do your best.
and then when you don't, like even when you're not blacked out or whatever, when you have a bad set on the road, you're like, damn, dude, I really have been working hard, and it stinks that it didn't go the right. So like
Yeah.
you're so much more let down, and then if you caused it, so at least before you're like, I'm working hard, it's not working.
Yeah, this night just the ball didn't
But if
hit
you're
the bat.
fucked, when you're fucked up and you do it, you feel so much worse. dude.
Oh, man, you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, I'm a bad comedian.
Yeah, I suck. I'm
Yeah.
abusing my
Using my power.
I shouldn't be able to do this. Yeah, man, but then that's also in a way like that's eating some shit.
And
you're
you
like,
need to eat some fucking shit. But tonight, you're not going to eat shit. You're going to
I'm
kill.
eating- We're eating fucking
Filet.
foie
Gras.
gras.
Wagyu foie gras.
Foie gras.
All right, we got to get you back so you can get to your show. And I love you.
I love it too, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
I was like,
look
when I
at.
was-
Oh, do you know what? Plug the rest of the dates. This is going to come out soon in like a week. So
Okay.
just
I
say
will
where
say,
you're going.
the one I'm going to plug for sure, April 21st. April 21st, Paramount Theater, Austin, Texas.
April 21st, Paramount Theater, Texas.
Austin, Texas. It's part of the Moon Tower Festival, but you can buy standalone tickets. So get tickets. If you live in Austin, Texas, or near Austin, if you're in San Antonio, Dallas,
Make
come on
the
down.
drive, dude.
Paramount Theater is beautiful. I've been trying to work it for ever since I opened for Hannibal there in 2013. So I 9 years I've really wanted to work it. Moon Towers, booked me to do the Paramount Theater, so I would love to fill it up.
Fill that up.
and have
Come on,
a
man. Go see the boy.
Fun show. DanSoder.com for other dates. I'll be in Winnipeg. I'll be in Tampa soon. I'm all over the place. And then Skankfest, Vegas in October. Louis J. Gomez told me to plug it.
No, you can do it. And also, he asked me to do it because I couldn't do it the last time. But it's so funny. It's October. What? October?
It's in October. I don't know the dates, but it's coming.
No, but I think he told me to.
I
and
think they're releasing more tickets.
He's like, if you're not fucking there this year, I was like, dude,
Yeah,
let me
it's
tell you
Vegas,
something.
so you can just drive there. Or no, yeah, it is Vegas. You'll be able to drive.
Is it Vegas?
Yeah, it's Vegas.
October
in
14th through 16th.
Yeah, there you go. October 14th
Guess
through
what?
16th.
Guess what? Won't be there again.
Damn.
Again. You know why?
You're telling him. I'm not telling him.
You know what? No, he knows because I said this last time. I go, what are the chances? October 16th is my birthday, and this became a tradition this past year. I played the Wilbur on my birthday weekend.
Awesome.
And then I made a joke to them. I said, I would play this every birthday weekend,
And that's going to be your thing.
And they did. And they were like, we would love to do that. So I already have, the tickets aren't on sale yet, but we
That's
already
awesome.
locked out. Yeah.
What a cool.
I know.
What a cool other thing to
Well,
be
I
doing.
said it as a joke. I go, I love making this. This would be cool if it's my birthday weekend. And the next year was also my birthday's on like a Saturday this time.
Sure.
Instead of and they were like, do you really want to do that? And I was like, yeah. I mean, can we do that now?
Is that okay?
Yeah, it was weird. And they were like, we'll lock it in. I was like, okay.
That's like, see, you've eaten enough shit that you get to that cool thing.
That is kind of wild because you always think that someone's going to go, you don't
No.
get the,
Fuck
no,
you.
take a walk.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Dude, the second Comedy Works stopped booking me on St. Patrick's Day weekends. I was like, what a gift.
Yeah.
Just work a regular weekend.
Just a normal
Just
weekend?
a plain Jane weekend at the beginning of March. What a treat.
It is nice, though. You do feel like when you elevate to, because I used to do Wednesdays or
Yeah.
I do like a one-off.
That's what it is. Wednesdays to Sundays, and then you go Thursdays through Sundays, and you go Thursday through Saturday, and then when you're really balling out, you go Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday is that's really balling out.
By the way, but the Wednesday nights, shout out to Wednesday night comics. You're out there. You're killing it. Keep fucking pushing.
You guys are getting better than us because you're working
by
those
far
nights.
because you're working fucking Wednesday
It's
nights.
absolutely true.
Go see my boy, DanSoder.com.
Oh yeah, dude. Thanks for coming by and doing a spot at the Comedy Store.
God bless. I can't wait to do it.
Dude, when
tonight.
I was going to do this thing, I was like, yeah, you could probably. Like Katie was like, you're gonna do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see Santino. I got to do his podcast.
Yeah, and then we got to go fucking tell some yokes.
Let's have some fun.
Tell some yokes. All right, we end the show the same way. And look at your camera. Say one word or one phrase to end the episode. It's going to be cemented in history for the rest of time. So when you're ready, go ahead.
Dubious.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a